So one of the main things that stands out, and it's probably true to anything in life, is but to care, have that desire and sort of pride in your own work. I think that's really important, and that is something that makes my job easier, makes their job easier, makes the mentor's job easier. It makes things a lot easier for everyone involved. And I think that inquisitive mind, that sort of always mind of wanting to know why, there's got to be a purpose behind doing something. Always asking questions, don't be afraid. And if you're developing data, you want stakeholders to understand it, so it's making sure it's in ways that people can read that information. And then other things such as elicitation of data. So rather than just collecting data for the sake of collecting data, it's being specific and thinking, what data do we need and what can we do with this data to provide some value to business change. The reason that I promote certain tools like Trello and Miro are simply because they're accessible to everyone in the sense that they're free. The basics and what you would need are all delivered within these tools. So Trello, for example, uses the Kanban boards, so the sort of your to-do list, in progress, and it really helps track accountability within teams, but also within individuals. So that's one reason I promote that. And again, it's free and anyone can use it. And Miro, similar, it's you can make it as cheap as you want it to be, but it comes with a lot of templates, so like analysis techniques that we cover, like SWOT or maybe user stories or lots of different things like that. There's templates set up, so it stops the apprentice having to think about how to lay it out, because the nice fancy way it looks is done, and they can just put the theory into practice then. We look at the two main languages really. So you've got UML and BPMN. So they're the two languages that people work with most consistently. And so I suppose for anyone who's not familiar with maybe some of the languages, things like flowcharts or diagrams, or you might see software like Visio or Miro where you can use different software that uses the language, and it kind of just helps the apprentices understand ways of mapping processes in like a consistent and understandable way. Because if we all use different symbols and keys for managing processes, no one would actually know what any of the process maps do or look like. So it's introducing them to that, and then looking at like project modeling, so things like for example like wireframes or demos or things like that. With project management, so we don't just go sort of narrow-minded and say this is a business analyst qualification. We understand that there's more than just sort of going maybe by the book sometimes. So I think what I'll say to apprentices a lot of the time is, yes, I will teach you a lot by the book because it's important for that like foundational knowledge. But as I mentioned in my role as a business analyst, the worlds of project management collide quite a lot of the time. So bringing, I guess, some of my real world experience, which is what the apprentices have really encouraged me to do more and more of, it kind of helps them understand how it's actually done in practice. So what we try and do is we try and make it accessible to everyone. So virtual is our preferred method. We don't want anyone in the country to be restricted by travel or what for whatever reason. So that's how we'll generally deliver the workshops, but that doesn't restrict anyone to virtual learning only. So we obviously have our centres in Manchester and Liverpool, so we can deliver one-to-one training, or even if maybe apprentices, for example, from the same business want to get together to learn off each other as well as myself, we can set things up separate to the workshops to develop specific knowledge. So this could even be additional qualification support, or it could be based around the specific apprenticeship work that we've either covered or that they've maybe got more questions, because as we know, when you learn the theory, putting it into practice is always a little bit different, so we can develop that further. And that includes, we would at least have a monthly like PDRs where we support the development of the apprentice, but bespoke learning is always available. So I think business analysts certainly aren't going anywhere anytime soon, and I think, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of very transferable skills. So one of the key things is, as I've mentioned, planning and thinking logically, and that comes with like project management. So that could be a career they may choose to go down. So a business analyst and a project manager would share a lot of responsibilities together, tasks that they'd work together. And in terms of development, you can start off as a junior business analyst or as a business analyst, but it's as simple as becoming a senior business analyst, or if you sort of prefer like agile ways of working, or in particular Scrum.